Hi, it's Diggin. Welcome back. I know it's been a while, but as always, I have so much to say that when I stop to think I'm gonna make a video, I don't know where to start because there's just so much. And having done my homework as of late, I have come to realize or understand that things might be happening a lot sooner than even I anticipated it. And what I'm talking about is world events. You know, when you kind of grow up this way by always, having a particular knowing, you forget that not everybody does. I know it sounds really crazy, but it's true. And I don't think, that happens because I'm self-centered or selfish. And I'm sure it happens to others as well. You just don't figure that. You just kind of think everybody knows this information, and then you realize, or I do, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm a schmuck. Because it's almost as if, I guess, I'm dancing around the fact that I don't want to say. I'm taking it for granted, the knowledge, and that kind of freaks me out. B, I've stumbled across a couple of cool places where I check out the videos, stop and chat. And what I have noticed, and this is why I am calling this particular video Nibiru and Fear, what to do with it, I guess. I think it needs to be said. And the reason is not so much because of the planet. It's not so much as to what it's called, Nibiru or Planet X or Planet 9 or Planet 10 or Planet 12. È una planeta, right? It's a planet, and it really doesn't matter, I guess. Well, it's destructive, so that's why I say it doesn't really matter, I guess, what it is that we call it. I never stopped to realize how somewhere, it's being projected every time you talk about this planet or associate anything with this planet. People automatically, instantly, boom, go to the end of the world, to the end of Earth, to the end of life, to the end of everything that we know. And it's only then that it becomes almost painful. And the reason is because obviously off target, wrong way of thinking. It's not necessarily fact or true. Now, what I say might not be necessarily fact or true, but the one thing I do know this. All right, like there's times that I freak myself out, because I'm always looking for confirmation. And there's been just so much of it all of my life that I'm now going, okay, well, I should probably say something. It was given to me, and it wasn't given to me so I could keep it. Somewhere in life it was going to make sense. I was going to utilize it. I just didn't know why. Written a couple of books, but like I said in another video, sabotage. People do the weirdest stuff. And so I thought, maybe this is a different video. My kids turned me on to this, like I had said. And I thought, huh. And while I've been on it, I've really learned that, holy moly, Batman, there's a real fear out there pertaining to what is up in the sky and what people are anticipating, and just the fact that you mentioned that planet in any which way. Maybe this too. There is this instant association with death. And I say somebody had to have written those books. Everybody dies. Or everybody did die, because it's been around already once or twice or a few times. And we were bred, you and I. So people survive, obviously. We're living proof people survive. People say to me, give me proof. Well, you're the proof. Yourself. The fact that you're here. If this shit was supposed to happen, and in history, it's logged. It's logged on a gazillion things, from wall to papyrus to stone to everything. It's been there forever. Man drew pictures to let another man be aware. And I think, right on. Am I ever glad that was a really good idea, kind of like, passing the buck to keep everybody going. And that's what this particular video, I guess, is about. The fact that this is up in our skies, okay? When I went there, literally, well, first, as always, my first reaction is confusion. It's instant. Where am I? What am I doing? Why do I feel this way? What am I here? What is being presented to me? What am I going to learn? And some of this stuff is really, it really, you grow up. You definitely grow up. But I would never change any of the experiences that I've had. When I die, I can say, wow, about my own life. And to me, I never looked at it that way. Never went, huh. As much as, I thought I was off the beaten path, only to be shown in my later years that I never missed the mark. So I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so back to this planet. When I was taken there, and that's where I kind of left off in my last video, I didn't remember how far I pushed the envelope, because I am going to say, rate these videos are, don't let your children or youngsters sit and watch these videos, not for any other reason than their minds are young, and yes, they're intelligent. But I really think the responsibility of this is not something that they need. They need to be children. And so that's the particular reason for my saying, I wouldn't recommend this being general. The videos are never going to be anything like that. But the contents of it, you have to be an adult, I think, to begin to get your head around it. And even as an adult, it's difficult to get your head around it. So anyway, what they showed me was, actually, the last time I saw this, and I didn't put two and two together until just recent, I saw this in 2008. I was in my living room and I was doing something, and then all of a sudden I just stopped in my tracks, and I wasn't in my living room. I took that one step, and then all of a sudden I was up in the ethers in the sky, and I was just watching planets go by me. And I was like, whoa, how did this happen? Like, holy mother. but you learn to ride the wave. You learn to make that dragon your friend, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Eventually you do. That dragon does become your friend, your best friend. So uh, on that uh, particular note, uh, jeepers, I lost my train of thought here. I'm sorry. I was thinking about the dragon becoming your friend and what it takes to get to that point. That's where I kind of gapped out. For a second, I went there. Um, anywho, there's a lot of conviction. You have to have a lot of conviction. Um, and this conviction has to do with setting boundaries, self worth, what you're willing to compromise, not compromise. And what I'm talking about is, just being in the moment, being present, and actually telling people the truth about some things. My truth, be it, not necessarily your truth, my truth. When I die, I'm going to die with a smile on my face. I never thought I would have. Like, I actually asked this of myself. Am I going to die with a smile on my face? But then I think about these little trips. Like I said, in my living room, I took that one step, and boom, all of a sudden I was going one way, and these planets were going this way. And initially, of course, I'm thrown off and then spooked, and then in wonder, total wonder. And I don't know if I'm going to be dead or alive, but I am going to tell you that we do end up talking to people from other planets here on this Earth, and I've got a really good feeling that it is sooner than later, and I think everybody's going to have a pleasant surprise. I really do. I know that people here on Earth, they instantly panic. They instantly think the worst, and that is, that it is going to be confrontational, and you're going to have to battle, because we don't see them as beings. I do. I mean, there's the Transformers where, like I said, or if I haven't, I will, running and running, and all of a suddenly, I just ran right smack into one, and I thought, oh shit, we're dead. We're dead. We're now dead. We're dead for sure. If there was ever a time I thought I was dead, it was then. And for a brief moment, even in my dream, I asked whether I jumped or was it a dream. And I was given a lot of information. Again, I had a confirmation. I asked, "Do you know God?" And my whole moment with these beings, if they would have said no or otherwise, I probably wouldn't have shared anything with them or let them share anything with me. That was my first. And the coolest thing is that the answer is yes. And so it made it twice as good. I know I laughed in one of my videos, and I kind of just left it out there, the hanging on. I mentioned it once, only once, and I said down the road I would mention it again. And the ones, they do look like Klingons. They really do. Like, and these guys are vile, and like, seriously, when they talk about wars up in the skies and stuff like that, this is one group, and they're kind of late by almost 500 years. Yeah, they're lagging. I don't know why I brought that up outside of the fact that that's the only thing I thought. Wow, the Klingons, dude, you guys are real. I thought, right on, kind of right on, as long as they didn't know I existed and I wasn't brought there to witness any of that. As long as I was invisible, it was right on. I thought I'd share that little tidbit with you. Now back again to the planet. Look, the planet's not going to hit. But what is going to hit is going to be a rock. And from there, the waters are poisoned, and there is yet more strife to our unbearable strife that we are experiencing then at that moment. When you just couldn't imagine any more strife, there was more strife. When I looked at it, I'll be honest, it scared the bejesus out of me. It scared the crap out of me. It scared the living, bad out of me. How about, and allowed all the good in. Because I just went, okay, I knew I loved God then, and when I realized some things just came so natural. It's part of my action, my personality, and I'm, you know, listening and learning and reading as to what God expects of us and our Lord expects of us. I think right on. I've been there from the word go as long as I can remember. So this thing just flies by, but like I said, it is going to be a rock. And I'm going to tell you something I didn't realize until now. I really hope that somewhere this is a keeper. When I look at what I saw and I listen to what it is that I am saying in the here and in the now, I kind of understand why it happens like that and why the time is so intense and it happens like that, because evil has to be abolished. Plain and simple. It's like giving birth. That one last push is a mofo. It really is. You have hit insanity and you let your mind go and your body do what it knows naturally to do and deliver your baby. So the situation is kind of like that. It's dire. And people, can't afford to be scared. Look at it this way. If there's nothing that you can do about it, then start thinking survival. Because when you start thinking survival, you start to understand that you can do it. Plain and simple. You can do it. You create a goal, and you create this goal by attaining knowledge. Now, let's just look at the poles. Let's remove the planets for a second. Just look at the poles. This happening to the poles is enough on its own. Maybe the planet is an excuse or a reason to be scared, or something more physical, more tangible, as to why we feel fear. And I myself, I did too. Hey man, you know what? I did a lot of crying, trying to understand this, and trying to understand how man somehow just let it slide by, and it is your life and my life, our lives, our essence of beings, who we are as people. There's a lot more of that we need to do, we need to experience, and that is who we are as people. And just a smile is a contribution that changes the world. Something just as simple as that. A smile, it can change the world. So, where we are, I'm going to say, pertaining to that planet is there, as well as everything else that is up there in the same sky, in the same heavens. The only thing that you've got control over And believe it or not, it is the only thing you need to be in control of. And that is yourself. That's yourself. At some point, you got to get jiggy with it. At some point, it has to happen. At some point, everybody has to hike. And that's probably a really good thought process. And know thyself. What do you need to survive? Like if all of a sudden all I had was a backpack, and I got mine from a surplus. I bought it because another soul had used it, and I thought, hey, you know what? There's no better bag. There's no better bag. It is about survival. What is it that you need in that bag that is going to be enough to keep you going from point A to point B? Batteries. Everybody makes fun of tin hats and whatever else, but lead, and why the lead, okay, and why there's this big joke about the tin hats and so on and so forth, is because the planet's a magnet. So it just sucks up all electricity. And that's what we are. We're electricity. So at one point in time, we have to step outside of the norm, outside of the box, whether we want to get our heads around it or not. Turn your emotion off. Do what you know you need to do by you. You do that right, it'll be really easy for you to do that with your loved one and for your loved one. Plain and simple. This is about knowledge, a time where we all need to stop and count our blessings and be all that we can be. Now, with this in the air is no reason for all that horror to have happened and been happening. And, you've got to remember there's that 7 years. So, in that time frame, there is a rebirth. And this rebirth is a rebirth of heart, mind, spirit, soul, of consciousness, of being. And what it is our ability to share knowledge with one another as human beings, be real. And where we are missing knowledge for whatever reason, whatever being, it's up to us as human beings. I pray as myself. I like to fill in the gap and give people knowledge. And this way they stay in control. They do. Like trying to get all depressed and go, oh my goodness, you know what, we're not going to have a chance. Life is over. I might as well do it now. You know what? It's not even remotely close to that. So, and then don't forget, that happens, you're in hell. And the reason you're in hell is because you never resolved it here on earth. It needs to be done. And having resolutions to things aren't as difficult as one might feel, because it really boils down to how honest are you with yourself. So what you're going to do, what you want to do. Don't focus on fear of Nibiru, or fear of what's Nibiru going to do, fear of, hey, prove it to me, and dates, and so on and so forth. It's not even about that. What it is about is the fact that it is a very high probability that it will affect this system. That system will affect this system. It's just science. That's it. So having that knowledge, you educate yourself. And yes, they might take you places that you never thought, like Star Trek, you never thought you'd be there before, but man travels where, nobody else has been. And isn't that the journey? Apparently, that's what's sold. So, is there a real need to be fearful? No. But there is a need to be mindful, and there's a need to be honest, and there is a need to be kind and understanding, and a need for kindness. Yeah, you know, just because we're human beings, that's all. Eventually, a name's not even going to matter. Just the fact that a human being can live is what matters. And that's how it should have been from the very beginning. So, you got to keep the faith. You've got to believe. Begin by believing in yourself. The only way you're going to believe in yourself is not by making an opinion, not by reacting to a sensation such as fear, but becoming knowledgeable. Keep focused. Breathe. Walk. Think. But keep focused. The focus is knowledge gives you control. It gives you control because you learn to understand. So then you know what's up. And what happens, we begin to focus on our soul and go, yeah, you know what? Good thing, balance is what I need. Yep, got to keep that balance. Got to keep everything aligned. So as they say, be kind. Yeah. Support the human species, I guess. Should you be afraid of Nibiru? No. Fear itself. Tune the way you're thinking, and give it some thought. Give what I said some thought. Say it is real. Say that is up. Say that, hypothetically. Okay, I bid you adieu. Peace.